The Desperate Alliance. The Valyrian emissary's translucent skin pulsed with bioluminescent patterns of distress as it faced the United Earth Council. Ambassador Thelion was the last hope of a dying species, elegant, highly evolved, and facing extinction at the hands of the relentless Nexus Collective. "We have traversed 17 light-years to reach you." Thelion's melodic voice resonated through the council chambers in New Geneva. "Our civilization stands at the precipice of annihilation. The Collective consumes all in its path, and now they come for your sector." High Chancellor Maya Potil leaned forward, her weathered face revealing nothing. Humanity had only achieved faster-than-light travel 15 years ago, and here was an alien civilization practically begging for their help. The irony wasn't lost on anyone in the room. "Ambassador, with respect," Paddle replied, "you've shown us impressive technology far beyond our capabilities. Your ships travel faster, your weapons strike harder, and your medicine could add centuries to our lives. Yet you claim to need our help against this Collective. What could Earth possibly offer that you don't already possess?" Thelion's skin shifted to a deep purple, their equivalent of a solemn nod. "What we lack, Chancellor, is something uniquely human: your adaptability, your unconventional thinking, and most importantly, your capacity for warfare." Murmurs rippled through the council chamber. Admiral Chen, Earth Defense Force Commander, barely suppressed a laugh. "You're saying that the most advanced species we've ever encountered needs our help because we're good at fighting?" "The Valyrians evolved beyond conflict millennia ago," Thelion explained. "Our species achieved harmony and technological advancement through cooperation, not competition. The Nexus Collective, however, operates through assimilation and destruction. We have no conceptual framework for defending ourselves against such aggression." The briefing that followed revealed the brutal efficiency of the Collective, a hive mind of cybernetically enhanced beings that consumed resources and incorporated useful species into their network. The Valyrians had already lost 7 colony worlds and were retreating toward Earth, inadvertently drawing the Collective into humanity's cosmic backyard. "And you believe humans can succeed where your advanced civilization has failed?" asked Defense Minister Okafor, skepticism evident in her voice. "Your history is written in conflict," Thelion responded. "What we see as your greatest flaw might be your salvation, and ours." The council deliberated for 3 days. Scientific teams eagerly studied Valyrian technology, while military strategists assessed the threat. Political factions argued the risks of alien entanglement versus the benefits of advanced technology sharing. Earth remained divided, until the Collective made the decision for them. Luna Colony, humanity's first permanent settlement beyond Earth, went dark on the 4th day. When communications resumed 8 hours later, the footage showed massive obsidian ships hovering over the lunar surface. 3,000 colonists gone. In their place stood identical humanoid figures with metallic skin and pulsing blue circuitry, working in perfect unison to dismantle human infrastructure and convert it into something alien. The Collective had arrived early, and humanity's response was immediate. "We're in," Chancellor Patel informed Thelion as planetary defense systems activated worldwide. "But we'll do this our way." Admiral Chen led the initial response, assembling Earth's modest space fleet, just 27 warships, to rendezvous with the Valyrian vessels hiding in Saturn's rings. The aliens had brought 30 magnificent ships, each larger than anything humans had built, with crystalline hulls that bent light in hypnotic patterns. "Your vessels are beautiful," Chen told the Valyrian fleet commander, Xylith, "but completely impractical for combat. No armor redundancy, weapon systems too exposed, and your bridge is literally visible from the outside." Xylith's skin flickered with patterns suggesting confusion. "Our ships are marvels of engineering. They travel at speeds your vessels cannot match and harness energy beyond your comprehension. And yet they're losing to the Collective," Chen replied bluntly. "Show me their fleet composition again." The subsequent strategy sessions revealed the fundamental disconnect between Valyrian and human military thinking. The aliens approached warfare like a mathematical equation, logical, direct, and utterly predictable. They attacked in perfect formations and retreated when casualties reached a certain threshold. They never sacrificed units strategically or employed deception. The collective, while ruthless, operated with similar predictability, optimized efficiency rather than tactical creativity. It was precisely this predictability that Chen intended to exploit. "We don't need to match their technology," Chen explained to her officers as Valyrian engineers helped retrofit Earth's vessels with advanced shielding and weapons. "We need to be what they can't compute, irrational, adaptive, and willing to sacrifice." Earth's scientists worked feverishly with Valyrian data to develop countermeasures against the collective's assimilation techniques, neural disruptors to block the hive mind signal, and targeted electromagnetic pulses that could temporarily disable their technology without affecting human or Valyrian systems. Meanwhile, Chen implemented her controversial asymmetric swarm strategy, breaking the fleet into smaller, independent strike teams. Each team trained to operate without central command if necessary, something the hierarchy-dependent Valyrians found deeply disturbing. "Your approach lacks cohesion," Xylith protested during the final briefing. "Small vessels attacking independently will be destroyed one by one." "That's exactly what the collective will think," Chen replied with a grim smile. "But these small vessels won't be attacking their warships. They'll be attacking something far more valuable." The first confrontation came at Mars' defense perimeter. The collective arrived with 15 capital ships, each bristling with assimilation pods and conversion beams. They moved in perfect formation, energy weapons charging as they approached the seemingly disorganized human Valyrian defense line. What followed stunned both allies and enemies alike. Rather than engaging in conventional space combat, the smaller human vessels executed a chaotic-seeming dispersion, only to regroup and target the collective's communication arrays. Specialized EMP weapons, developed by merging human nuclear technology with Valyrian energy manipulation, created cascading system failures throughout the enemy fleet. Meanwhile, human boarding parties, something the Valyrians had deemed primitive and suicidal, launched toward the disabled ships. Within hours, 3 collective vessels had been captured intact, their hive mind connections severed, their data cores being decrypted by human AI systems operating on principles the collective couldn't predict. It was humanity's willingness to risk individual lives for strategic advantage, a concept alien to both the Valyrians and the collective, that achieved what advanced technology alone could not. "You sent humans into those ships knowing many wouldn't return," Xylith observed, skin pulsing with patterns of distress and awe as they watched the aftermath. "Every volunteer knew the risks," Chen replied. "And now we know how the collective thinks, how their ships function, and most importantly, how to break their connection to the hive." The victory was temporary. The collective would adapt. But humanity had demonstrated something the galaxy hadn't seen before: the ability to defy overwhelming odds through unconventional thinking and calculated sacrifice. As the combined fleet regrouped to prepare for the inevitable counterattack, Felion approached Chancellor Patel with newfound respect in his luminescent patterns. "We sought your help believing we had everything to teach and little to learn," the ambassador admitted. "We were wrong. Your species possesses something ours has forgotten: the understanding that survival sometimes requires embracing chaos rather than perfect order." Patel watched as captured collective technology was being studied and reverse-engineered by human scientists. "Ambassador, we've only just begun to show you what humanity can do when backed into a corner." In the command center, Admiral Chen studied the latest intelligence reports. The collective was assembling its main fleet, hundreds of vessels converging toward Earth. The real test was yet to come. "They think they've calculated our threat level," she told her officers. "Let's show them how wrong they are." Defiance of the impossible. The massive collective armada emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Proxima Centauri system, where humanity's farthest colony clung to survival on a harsh exoplanet. This was to be an overwhelming show of force. 800 warships against the combined human-Valyrian fleet of barely 60 vessels. Admiral Chen observed the tactical display aboard her flagship, the EDF Defiant. Beside her stood Zulith, the Valyrian commander's translucent skin pulsing with anxiety patterns. "They outnumber us 13 to 1, Zulith stated, the translator conveying the aliens' dismay. "By all logical calculations, there is no possible victory scenario." Chen's weathered face broke into a smile that unnerved her alien ally. "Then it's a good thing humans don't trust calculations when our survival is at stake." The past 3 weeks had transformed the human-Valyrian alliance. What began as reluctant cooperation had evolved into something unprecedented. Humanity's ingenuity merged with Valyrian technology. Earth's factories worked around the clock, mass-producing seemingly primitive nuclear weapons modified with Valyrian phase-shifting technology. Mining operations throughout the solar system had been converted to extract materials for a project the Valyrians had initially dismissed as barbaric and ineffective. "Project Hornet's Nest is ready, Admiral," reported Commander Osoi, Chen's tactical officer. "All teams are in position." Chen nodded. "Transmit the collective's communication protocols. Let's invite them to our party." Across the void of space, the collective received an unexpected signal, one of their own authentication codes, extracted from captured ships. The signal contained a single message in the collective's binary language. "We wish to negotiate assimilation terms." The collective, incapable of comprehending deception, dispatched a delegation of 3 ships toward the human-Valyrian position. As they approached, sensors detected minimal defenses and disorganized fleet positioning, signs they interpreted as surrender preparation. What they couldn't detect were the thousands of stealth satellites deployed throughout the system, each containing a modified nuclear device paired with Valyrian phase-shifting technology. When the collective delegation crossed the invisible threshold, Chen gave the order. "Execute Hornet's Nest." The nuclear detonations themselves weren't the primary weapon. It was the precisely calculated electromagnetic pulses, amplified and focused by Valyrian technology, that swept through the delegation ships. Their systems crashed instantly, hive mind connections severed, leaving them dead in space. But this was merely the prelude. As the main collective fleet advanced to investigate, they encountered what appeared to be a human mining facility on Proxima B's moon, seemingly defenseless and resource-rich. The collective, programmed to optimize resource acquisition, diverted 30 vessels to secure this easy target. The mining facility was, in fact, an elaborate trap. As the collective ships initiated their standard assimilation protocol, the facility's reactor went critical, not in a conventional explosion, but in a precisely engineered gravitational pulse that temporarily distorted spacetime within a focused radius. The 30 collective ships imploded, crushed by forces their advanced shields were never designed to withstand. "Impossible," exclaimed Zulith, watching the tactical display. "You manipulated gravitational fields with technology centuries beyond your development level." "Not our technology," Chen replied. "We just took your theoretical gravitational research and applied it in ways you never considered. Sometimes the most primitive approach yields the most surprising results." The true genius of humanity's strategy wasn't technological superiority. It was psychological warfare against an enemy that had no concept of such tactics. The collective operated on perfect information and predictable patterns. Chen's forces exploited this fundamental limitation with deliberate misinformation, decoy operations, and sacrificial maneuvers that appeared irrational but served hidden purposes. The main engagement began with a seemingly suicidal charge by human vessels directly into the heart of the collective formation. Valyrian commanders watched in horror as Earth ships deliberately took devastating hits to their forward sections, only to reveal that these were remotely piloted decoys, their real purpose to disperse specially engineered nanites that began corrupting the collective's communication network. Meanwhile, The actual human Valyrian fleet executed a complex series of maneuvers that isolated and eliminated collective ships in small groups rather than engaging the full armada. It was warfare as humans had perfected it over thousands of years of conflict. Asymmetrical, adaptive, and psychologically disruptive. 4 hours into the battle, the collective's perfect formation had disintegrated into scattered groups trying to counter attacks coming from unpredictable vectors. Their hive mind, accustomed to processing perfect information, faced a cascade of contradictory data from compromised ships. "They're adapting," warned Commander Osei as the tactical display showed collective vessels beginning to regroup. Shifting to Phase 2. Phase 2 revealed the true purpose of humanity's strange mining operations throughout their solar system over the previous weeks. From pre-positioned locations, thousands of mass drivers, simple electromagnetic launchers, began firing payloads toward the collective fleet. Not advanced weapons, but chunks of metal and rock accelerated to phenomenal speeds, each carrying a Valyrian phase device that rendered them virtually undetectable until impact. The kinetic bombardment tore through collective vessels that had concentrated all defenses on energy weapons and exotic particle attacks. Their shields, designed to stop advanced weaponry, proved useless against the brutal physics of mass and velocity, a lesson humanity had learned through centuries of warfare. At the battle's zenith, the collective's command ship established direct communication with the Defiant. "Your resistance is inefficient," stated the collective overseer, its humanoid form displaying pulsing circuitry beneath translucent skin. "Integration offers perfection. Continued opposition guarantees extinction." Admiral Chen studied the alien being, part machine, part organic, wholly committed to a single mode of thought. "That's where you're fundamentally wrong," she replied. "Humans don't fear extinction enough to surrender our identity. We'd rather die as ourselves than live as something else." "Illogical," the overseer responded. "You cannot prevail against superior numbers and technology." Chen smiled. "We already have. Check your fleet composition." The collective, finally recognizing the extent of their losses, initiated their contingency protocol, a massive energy surge designed to destroy all non-collective technology within the system. It was their ultimate weapon, deployed only when facing unexpected defeat. But humanity had anticipated this too. As the energy wave expanded outward, the human Valyrian fleet executed an emergency phase shift, a technology the Valyrians had theorized but never implemented, allowing their ships to briefly exist slightly out of sync with normal spacetime. The collective's weapon passed through them, finding no targets, its energy dissipating uselessly into space. In the stunned silence that followed, Chen delivered humanity's response, a precisely targeted package of adapted Valyrian code transmitted directly to the collective command ship. Not a weapon, but information, the complete history of human warfare, conflict resolution, and eventually, peace. It was data the hive mind couldn't ignore, couldn't filter, and couldn't process according to its rigid parameters. "We don't want to destroy you," Chen transmitted. "We want you to understand why we fight. Process this information, then decide if assimilation is really the optimal path." The effect was immediate and unprecedented. The collective ships froze in position as the hive mind encountered a concept it had never before processed, the idea that conflict itself could lead to growth and positive evolution. The paradox created a cascading logic failure throughout their network. 3 days later, the remaining collective fleet withdrew from Proxima Centauri without further engagement. Long-range sensors tracked them returning to their territory, their usual perfect formation now showing subtle variations, signs of individualized decision-making emerging within the hive. In the aftermath, as human and Valyrian medical teams treated the wounded and engineers assessed battle damage, Ambassador Thelion sought out Chancellor Patul on the observation deck of Earth's orbital headquarters. "You could have destroyed them completely," the Valyrian noted, skin patterns displaying confusion. "Why risk allowing them to recover and return?" Patul watched as a Valyrian medical ship use their advanced technology to heal injured human soldiers, a partnership that would have seemed impossible months earlier. Because the goal was never extermination, she explained. It was understanding. We showed them that assimilation isn't the only path to advancement, that diversity of thought, even conflict itself, can drive evolution more effectively than forced unity. A dangerous gamble, Thelian observed. That's humanity's specialty, Paddle replied. We've spent our history taking chances, making mistakes, and learning from them. Sometimes, the greatest advances come from our greatest failures. In the months that followed, the galaxy witnessed a transformation. The collective didn't return with greater forces as feared. Instead, isolated reports indicated internal restructuring as the concept of individualism spread through their network like a virus. The Valyrians, meanwhile, established permanent diplomatic and research exchanges with Earth, their advanced technology now complemented by human innovation and adaptability. Admiral Chen received numerous honors but requested reassignment to the Frontier Fleet, where she continued implementing her unconventional strategies. When asked by a young officer what she considered humanity's greatest strength, her answer surprised many. Not our resilience or our technology, she said, but our contradictions. We wage war to achieve peace. We embrace chaos to create order. We accept death to preserve life. Other species see these as logical fallacies, but humans understand that the universe itself is built on such paradoxes. As news of humanity's victory spread across known space, other alien civilizations that had remained neutral during the conflict now sought diplomatic relations with Earth. The species they had dismissed as primitive and insignificant had accomplished the impossible, not through technological superiority, but through the uniquely human ability to transform disadvantage into opportunity. The galaxy would never underestimate humanity again.